It's the Marc Clarke Morning Show. Healthy, wealthy, and wise.
And welcome to the show. It's going on. I'm excited to have everybody here. We're watching live. We're watching. Today it's going to be about positivity. Health. It's going to be about wellness. It's going to be about love. It's going to be about all good. A couple things I want to remind you. Shout out to all my partners, sponsors. First of all, don't forget about me. My children's books are waiting for you. I've got My Papa Is available on Amazon. Make sure you check out My Papa Is. Also, don't forget about My Three Dogs. Okay, My Three Dogs. And lastly, Big Daddy and the Trampoline, all available on Amazon. Make sure you get a chance. Go ahead and get them. In fact, I'm going to have, I've got some other ways you can get them too. I have a new shopping site that we were kicking off. I'll tell you about, probably tell you about it tomorrow. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host Bootsy Vegas is in the building. Bootsy Vegas.
Hello, my good friendship.
What it do, brother? You doing good?
Man, late nights being a sports commentator is a hard job, Mark. Normally you've been great at building me for this stuff, but you've been failing me. Your media friendship has been failing me on the long detail that it takes. I just want you to know that.
Well, man, I'm telling you, you do an amazing job with you and the kids, and it's a whole new thing. You're teaching a whole new generation of sportscasters. You're grooming the next Howard Cosell. You're grooming the next Gus Johnson. You're grooming the next. So it's amazing. Marv Albert without the bites.
You're right. I
see my cousin. What's up, BB? My cousin from Atlanta is in the building, and also I see Hassan is in the building. We got a special guest joining us this morning, and he's not from the area, y'all. He's one of our first social media stars. Oh, Lisa Dove Washington also joining us. But this brother has over 30,000 followers on Instagram. He talks about health. He talks about life. He talks about wellness. And of course, all the honeys love him. But he's a love man. He's a love man. Oh no, my little cousin. My little cousin is also joining us this morning. Miranda, wow. What's going on? Also, yes, let me tell you something right now. I got something, Mr. Promo Voice. Two-Face. You know Two-Face?
Do I know him?
Two-Face. Let me tell you.
DC Public Schools own, Wilson High School's own.
Let me bring on J2 Houston, just because JT is a positive guy. Again, ladies, calm down. Yes, he's cute, he's fine. He got a six-pack, but he's a good guy. He's a calm, and he's going to appreciate what's about to happen. So, about what the ministers always say, watch this, right? So JT Houston, welcome, JT. How you doing, bro?
Good morning, beautiful people. How you doing today?
JT, for some reason I hear myself, and I don't know why in your setup. I don't know, but
sound like you got a speaker. I got a speaker.
No, it's just my phone. That's all I got.
Oh, so you got your phone. Okay. So what I probably do is when I talk, I might mute it, then turn you on when you're talking. Okay, that works. So JT, I wanted you to participate because you're all about positivity, you're all about love, and we're always about. You never know when a blessing is coming your way. You never know. So I had this thought in the garage the other day, and I was going to reach out to my promo voice. By the way, JT, he's a excellent voiceover artist. He's a DJ. This brother right here I'm talking about, right? He's on the chat, right? I'm very So, I was thinking about this, Bootsy, because after my radio experience at WHUR, you know, you get that little severance package, and you know how we do. You start buying up stuff that you really may or may not use. Or you have plans on using it. So after this, so JT, after this radio situation, I was then gonna hop fully into the voiceover game, right? But I did not. Okay, I did not hop into the voiceover game. But what I did do was buy a very expensive. It's like a mobile studio. It's like a box. You put the mic in, and it's an encased studio. You know, that I spent, you know, over $1,000 for. So what's going to happen right now is I'm going to give it to Mr. Promo Voice, because not only do I love him, but because he's doing amazing work. And that's what it's about. You never know when the money's coming your way. So all I got to do, because actually what happened was I was trying to sell it on eBay. I sold it on eBay, but the shipping was going to be like $600. And so it was in my garage. So Mr. Promo Voice just picked up a nice little thing to add to his empire, and he's got real contracts. He's doing real voiceover work. And so Mr. Promo Voice, yes, he said, what? Yes, my brother. I'm about to, all I got to do is, man, when we get off, send me your address, man. I'm gonna send you. Oh, you know what? No, I'll bring it to you, because, yeah, it's too expensive to mail. But anyway, that's
Hold on. I don't think you're going to bring it to him, because he don't know where he live at. But I'll let him tell you.
I know he just moved. Where'd he move to?
Rhode Island.
Oh, Lord Jesus. That's okay. I got it. I'm going to have to come up to Rhode Island to give it to him. So
okay. Well, I don't mean Rhode Island Avenue, but go ahead, continue.
And so now, and again, JT, I'm not holding you. I'm not holding you hostage, but there's a couple things that I did want to say, and I want you to chime in, JT. So, and again, JT, Bootsy, you always said we have guests on, and there's energy and blah 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 blah, right? And it's unexpected. So JT not only is in another place. My friend was feeling JT's energy. This is the first time we're meeting, but I could tell that he got the energy, and I could tell what I'm about to say. He's going to chime in and be like, okay, right? So here we go. So JT, we just got finished with this Veguary challenge, and Doc should be coming on. Dr. Green's going to come on. And so one of Dr. Green and Coach Roz is an herbalist. And so a part of the program, she has this scan. You're probably familiar with it. I forgot the name of it. They do a scan, and it kind of gives you your, it scans your emotional well-being. It scans your what nutrients work well with you, blah 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 blah. Right. So yesterday was the end of it. I did it at the beginning of the month, and then I did it yesterday to wrap up the Veguary challenge. We were vegan challenge. So the first time I took the scan, the emotional part, Bootsy, it was like I was just perfect. It was like I had nothing was in the red. In fact, it was just like I had no issues at all. Like zero, nothing. Stress, guilt, jealousy, envy, all stuff. Nothing. And that's how I wasn't shocked by that, because that's how I feel. That's how I feel as a human being. I'm not the guy that really worries. I'm not the guy that really stresses, ups and downs. Allison, my wife, says I have no high highs and no low lows. I'm always in the middle, right? So now, yesterday, when I took the test, it showed my stuff was off the roof. I mean, jealousy, envy, that was like, and so, of course, you go, I'm a Gemini, JT, so I'm the person that, could be, could not be. I'm not really, whatever. I'm about to shock. I believe in stuff, but I don't believe in stuff. So I'm always saying, whatever. But so when I saw that, I said, well, that's not really who I am. But JT, I had that when I was just taking the shower this morning, and look at God, because I thought about it, JT, and I said, you know what? Now let's look, Bootsy, and you know what's going on. Let's look what happened, JT. So the first time I took it, I was just coming off a situation, JT, where as a radio guy, and my wife's a TV news anchor in the market for over 20 years, I had hopped off the radio and I filled in for a young lady on television for like 4 months. And I did a good job. So I learned a new skill set. I was on TV every day. It was exciting. And then, you know, when she came back, of course, they didn't have any space for me, right? So at that point, though, when I took the test, I was fulfilled. I had some money in the bank. I was in a certain place. You know, I was kind of in a certain place. And now, at the end of this 30 days, my conscious mind, how I feel, hasn't changed. I don't feel stressed. I don't feel angry. I don't feel jealousy. I don't feel any of those things. But the reality is, I am in a financial challenge. I don't have a 9-to-5. You know what I mean? I auditioned for a thing that I didn't get. So the way I show up consciously is I'm not that person that said, oh, I didn't get it. But who knows what's going on in my subconscious, right? And so it made me, as I was getting ready, Sandra, like you said, he said, don't go by that test. That's my initial was don't go by the test. But what I tapped into, though, JT, was I was like, this is I'm going to share this because I think we do this sometimes. And this is how people, just like in the middle of this challenge, JT, when I was doing the vegan challenge, I randomly took my blood pressure, which you know, wasn't an issue, but it was up. Why? Because I was eating more processed foods that I was used to, and it snuck up on me. So while I felt great, and in the midst of, I was like, oh, I'm doing this vegan challenge. I'm in the middle of it. My levels were different than I thought. And I said, this would be a good reminder for all of us to look deeper. There we go, Jarrell, looking deeper in yourself. Like some people wear it on their sleeve. My wife Allison worries, you know, when she's concerned, she wears it. I don't. I don't ever have a bad day, but it doesn't mean that that's still going on in my head. It still doesn't mean that I'm eating it. And so I just want to remind everybody, like you said, Jarrell, sometimes you have to analyze and go deeper. Ask yourself how you're feeling. And then lastly, I have a friend, and a couple, you know, I guess he watches me from a distance, and he checks in on me. Are you okay? And we had this conversation, and I thought he was in a sense, you know how when you go through stuff, because he's watching, you know, so you know you're not on TV anymore. You da 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 da, you da 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 da. Are you good? Are you all right? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. And he was like, yeah, okay. You know, and a part of me, when I got off the phone, I felt like he was projecting onto me. I was like, you know, you can't really do, but then, you know what I'm saying? So that I'm saying all that to say, let's go make sure you're checking your deeper state of mind. And there's nothing wrong with analyzing yourself. So JT, I said all that to say your thoughts and welcome to the show.
Well, good morning again to everyone. I guess to touch base on that, this is like a daily thing. You got to realize every time we go through any little thing, our mind shifts, our energy may shift. I'm big on like protecting my energy. So I start my day with how I want my day to go. And what does that mean, right? I do affirmations in the morning before I leave. I learned quickly that I need to be in a state of like, you know, clear my mind and start my day. I don't go on social media. I don't go into the news. I don't want to know what's going on in the world. I want to know what's going on with me internally before I start my day. So no matter what you're going through, you go on these challenges, it's vegan challenges, whatever health and fitness challenge, you got to take care of here and here first, right? Before we even start moving. And you got to do a check-in. I do self check-ins with myself every day. And then I affirm myself before I leave the house. That way, whatever energy I have, I can bring to others, because my goal and my gift is to bring positive energy to the rest of the world, right? So that's my goal, my objective. So doing those check-ins, you may have had those small successes or even a big success. And in your back of your mind, you're like, when is this going to end, right? So you're like, I know this is coming to a close. And then as an entrepreneur, I'm in that space, right? So as an entrepreneur, you're like, all right, now I need to get to the next thing, preparing for this thing. So even though you're feeling good because you got all this goodness coming into your life, you're slowly still, you know that there is an end to that time frame is coming up. So your mind is like, all right, now I need to prepare. So you could be worried internally, but projecting the smile because you're still in the midst of it. That's why I'm never in the past, and I'm never too far in the future. I try to focus on these present times, and then always focus on how can I help more people. And then I learned quickly that more abundance comes when I'm thinking that way. Instead of focusing on my own personal needs, I'm focusing on how many people can I help, and what ways can I do that. And then in turn, doing that, I grow a lot more internally, not just financially, but I grow more internally. And then my day and my life tends to improve the more I focus on that. So I don't know if that helps a lot because it's deeper than that. But this is like consistency, right? You work out, you know, you're not going to see anything in a week. 2 weeks, you're not going to see anything. 3 weeks, you still may not see anything. A month goes by, you're not going to see nothing. You like, I'm putting in all this effort, but month 2, 3, 4 come, and you look back at day 1, and you're like, man, it's just a consistency if you're doing something over and over and over. And the positivity and the love that I have in my life now came from internal, because I had a lot of external traumas, triggers, and all sorts of things that were breaking me down on a daily basis. And those things, I always say, through lack became love. Like, I didn't have love. Like, I didn't receive it as a kid. You know, I was kind of stripped of that growing up, and I didn't get hugged all the time. I didn't get affirmed. So what I learned quickly was, like, I have to do that for myself. And if I start doing that for myself and doing that for others, in turn, it'll come back. And that was like, what? Consistency, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 months later, I now found that by working on it on a daily basis, I had it and I was able to give it. And I also, what you don't know is I've been in the education space for 16 years. I started as a teaching assistant and kind of worked my way up the ladder and created youth programs to encourage, inspire, and motivate young African-American males in the inner city school district, utilizing fitness as a tool to engage with them, making sure they didn't go down the path that my friends went down, I was headed down, and teaching them that loving themselves and loving others is more important than showing aggression, because we didn't learn how to love each other. We didn't learn how to love ourselves. So our quickest thing to go to always is the negativity. It's very easy to be angry, but teaching young people and adults that I work with how to showcase love for one another has been the struggle, but the most rewarding once they realize how valid it can be. And that's why my day to day, if you check out my social media, it's always like getting over something or staying positive or being happy about the smallest thing, and realizing that the energy we give towards the love that we have in our lives, the more we get of it, right? So focus on, I don't care if I woke up today, I am super excited because I woke up. And then now I'm giving that to my clients when I see them. They're like, oh, I'm having a tough day. I'm like, no, you're not. You woke up today. You know, and we start with that small thing, and then that kind of balloons over. And I'm sorry, I'm probably giving a lot right now. I apologize if I'm talking over. But yeah, that's how I feel. Like, I'm excited every day to wake up now, because I know that I have the potential to impact even one person with my words. And I try to do that on a day-to-day basis. So.
No, you're killing it, man. You did an amazing job. And this is why JT has over 30,000 followers around the world. Women are in love with him. Men respect him. Kids want to be him. And speaking of wanting to be somebody, Dr. Green joins the conversation. Doc, welcome to the party. How you doing, love?
Good morning. I am excited. I am here. I am feeling JT. Love is dope. That's right. I woke up this morning. I was on the wake up list. You are talking my language. You're an educator. Let's get it and let's go. Yes.
Dr. Green always got something new. So today, as we celebrate Women's History Month, Dr. Green, you're launching another initiative. Let's get it popping.
Yes, another initiative. It's called Women on the Move, Get Up and Move. And so we are now moving during the month of March. You know, the Women's History theme for 2022 is to provide healing and promote hope. And it's really focusing on the caregivers and the caretakers and everyone that has been given so much during the pandemic. But think about it. We gave so much, but how much have we really taken back to give to ourselves, to allow ourselves to take hold of our health, to allow ourselves to take care of ourselves, to allow ourselves to self-love, allow us to celebrate ourselves and show that we are women on the move. But as we are women on the move, we have to get up and move. We have to make sure that we're maintaining that healthy lifestyle. So we just got off of the Veguary challenge of learning how to eat plant-based, and we did an excellent job on that. So now let's get a hold of our movement and start each day with some type of movement, even if it's just a little bit of running up and down the stairs or taking the laundry or things of that nature, as we do all the things we do each day, making sure that we're putting movement, because in order for us to give and fulfill our assignment, we have to be our best self. And how can we pour from an empty pitcher? And so we want to make sure that when we're pouring, we're giving everything that we're supposed to. So yes, Mark, we are on it. We are Women on the Move, Get Up and Move. And we've started. Our Facebook group is growing already. So I hope after today, we have so many other people join us so that we can highlight and celebrate you and provide hope and healing through movement.
Dr. Green, where do we go? Where do we go to get sign up? Where do people go?
Same place, 2E Seasons, www.2 Seasons. Go there, register, and you will join. You will get an invite for our group. Coach Roz is doing she's doing free workout sessions on Tuesday and Thursdays. You'll get a special graphic image that says, I am a woman on the move, and you can tell your story. And most of all, we're going to be celebrating each other this whole month.
It's so interesting, having 3 daughters and a wife and 2 female dogs. No, that's not that. It's a joke. Okay, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm very in tune with the female energy. And the thing that I'm just so and having lost my mother and my mother-in-law, and our grandparents, I get it. I'm like, I get it. Like now with women, I'm telling you, JT, I get it. When I see a woman at the mall. Oh, she ain't at the mall for herself. She's at the mall for like who knows how many people. She's buying, this outfit for one, for the boys or for the girls or for the husband or da-da-da. She's like, it's like the house manager, and I just have this understanding that I think a lot of times that we don't. And the funny part is when you're in a relationship, I think both parties feel like they're not being heard sometimes, or they don't feel like you understand, or you don't feel da-da-da. I think that's a part of it, right? But it's just when you look at the big construct, and when you're I want to argue with Al sometimes, and I'll be like, why is she arguing? I hear you. But the world sometimes puts you in such a space, as you mentioned before, JT, that you're fighting for your life, like your whole life. Why? Because you started when you were like 3 fighting, and so you still fighting, and sometimes you don't have to fight like that anymore, but there's a reason. When you understand the backstory, when you understand the context, you then now understand, and you can better maneuver and understand each other. I remember with Allison, one of the things that I got out of an argument one time that I'm very sensitive with my daughters is we were arguing about something ridiculous. It didn't even make any sense. But what I realized in one of our exchanges was the frustration she was feeling was because she felt I was judging her. She was feeling judgment, right? And I think so. It's like as a dad to young ladies, I'm conscious of that because it can be something the way you say something, the timing that you say something could make your daughter feel like you're judging her weight. Could make you I used to crack on my, and we're a funny household, but I had to stop this because it was when she was a kid, she's a Virgo. And I used to be like, because, Michael Jackson's a Virgo. There's famous Virgos. I would be like, Virgo, weirdo. And I had to stop that because when I realized, in a serious conversation, I said something and she was like, Dad, you always think I'm weird. You don't think I'm da-da-da-da. And in my mind, it hurt my heart, because I was joking, but you can't joke like that. You got to be aware of what you're saying, what your words are. And so I think, again, I love this, of course, everything you do, Dr. Green. But I think, again, as we celebrate women and we celebrate this moment, I love the fact that when you celebrate anybody, it's everybody's celebration. As we celebrate, we want everybody to win. It's not men against women. It's all of us. And so though it's focused on women, we're all celebrating. So please join, Dr. Green and Coach Roz. You guys have just changed my life. I mentioned you missed the first part, Dr. Green. I'll tell you off the air, but just a realization that I had. And that's what I'm talking about. These kind of conversations are life-changing. So back to you, Dr. Green, you have to go. I know you have to go. Bye, Dr. Green. See you later.
Today I blocked out a little bit of rope so I can hang around a little bit. And
okay.
I definitely love to connect with JT because JT, I'm an educator. I've been an educator for over 20 years. I started off as a classroom teacher. My last role, I was a regional assistant superintendent in a large urban school district where I oversaw 12 schools. Currently now I'm just an entrepreneur, full-time educational consultant and coach. So I would love to connect with you on that level because there's so much work to do. Our kids need you.
And back to Jay. So JT, give us your backstory, JT. We know you're a superhero, but we got to have the origin story. So tell us, you shared it with us a little bit, but give that to us. And then also, we'll start there.
Okay. So I've been very active my entire life, but I grew up in, the typical single parent mom, but I really had the village. So I always say I didn't lack the things that were needed. I realized that as I grew older, right? My grandmother had 7 children. My mom had me at 15 to a 15-year-old father. So they were very young. My grandmother helped raise me with the village and the rest of her kids in one large household setting. So it was my cousin and I were 9 months apart. So both moms had us very young. So we're raised by an entire household of aunts, uncles. And my father, who moving forward now, I was the oldest now of 20 plus kids. My mom only has me. So if you think of the narrative of that, having a bunch of siblings that are all scattered through, I didn't have the fatherly male influence, but I did have two amazing uncles. And my grandmother did an amazing job keeping everyone on path, off the streets, working hard, focus on their studies and doing the best they could. So those are my two fathers. I always say I have two. One's the emotional support and one's the very stern and calm. I am the calm of the other. So my very tall uncle. That was the original, and I got into a lot of trouble early on, not having real guidance. Mom working 3 jobs, the typical running the streets, doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. And then my 8th grade going into 9th grade year, my cousin was killed, dibbling, dabbling, selling things that we shouldn't have been selling, moving around. But my cousin was killed, and it drastically changed my life. And going to high school, like a completely different person. I was very violent as a teenager. And then slowly with mentors, which is why I mentor today, with mentors, it kind of shifted my perspective. I'm an athlete. I had people that cared about me or showcase care for me. And my life started to kind of shift. Grew up in a very poor environment. But what really shifted as I got older and graduated from high school and started to go into college, I've left the siblings that I did have from my father having a bunch of kids. I was 17 and ran a teen center. I was a very responsible young person because my mom made me work everywhere. I used to pick my brother up from his house, which is in disarray, and took him with me to the teen center for an outreach center. Now, again, me starting with working with kids very, very young as a kid myself. Well, my brother, when I left for college, my 2nd year in college, I found out that, they had a really rough life. Well, he committed suicide. He was 15 years old. So I found out when I came home for a visit. At this point, I'm playing, I'm accepted Division I scholarship playing basketball, and everything shifted, everything. I was in a state of depression. It changed everything, like what I wanted to do in my life, where I'm going, the direction. So I was in, a constant state of disarray. But after that, I got into working with children, part-time college, full-time jobs. And I was my goal was to help his family because I knew that they were in disarray. And the one thing I realized was what made him happiest, because I didn't know at that time what he was going through in his personal life, because we had different home lives. But what made him happiest was love, and the love that I gave him and the attention that I gave him and being silly with him. So that's where I started to talk more about the love I wanted to give. And I created my own brand, and I always wanted to do it when I did programming with kids, and it's called Spreadlove. So my whole initiative through my life is now Spread Love. So Love is Dope is one of the messages. Every message that's on any t-shirt that I make is geared towards inspiring someone. So I'm strong because a strong woman raised me. My mom did raise me. My grandmother raised me. My aunts raised me. Love is always the theme, and he's always a part of it. So every shirt that I ever make either has a rose, which there's a rose on the back, or a flower. I mean, a rose or a heart. So it's always embedded. And with that, I started to create kids programs. I got certified as a personal trainer, group fitness instruction, and started getting contracted at the school to work with kids and then working with adults. And I ran a few, just to speed it up, I run a few programs as I kind of ascended. And then I started teaching social emotional learning to teachers to make sure they understood the narrative of how we should be treating our kids in the inner city school systems. I became a director of a charter school. I did that for about 4 years. And then I was director of a not-for-profit for 2 years, doing the same thing, trying to change the narrative for the kids in the communities that I grew up in. And then I resigned. I just wanted to do more for myself as an entrepreneur, the red tape in education and not-for-profit organizations. So I wanted to just do more. And I was very intentional. So over the past 3-4 months, I've been intentional about building a social media platform, doing the engagement work myself, as a trainer, as a motivator, as a mentor. And the social media started to grow very, very quickly, to be honest with you. Posting positive content, sometimes shirtless, because I'm also a fitness instructor, right? So posting the positive content along with the fitness. So I try to combine the two, showcasing love, positivity.
Oh, I see what you're doing here.
You see. So I mean, I can't make this up to anybody watching that's trying to grow a social media platform. Literally in 55 days, I've grown from literally 2,000 followers to over 30,000 on Instagram, 47,000 on Facebook, and 33,000 on TikTok. I know I'm on every platform except for YouTube.
So hold on. So me and Mark should just take our shirt off and go on social media. Is that what you're saying we need to do?
Well, so there's a method to it as well. It's got to be some context behind the shirtless. Okay. But look, I can tell from y'all right now, y'all some fit, healthy looking brothers. Like, you can do it. Handsome. I see that the charm is coming through. You got to showcase. They're at Poppy Collar, man. Y'all some good looking brothers. Y'all got to get on there, push your narrative. Just showcase the right here. Just the shoulders up. The shoulders will get y'all. All they need to see is the shoulder, but make sure there's a message behind the skin. You know.
And so, JT, you actually, it's because it is interesting. And Doc, as a woman, and an educator, so it's interesting because your energy comes through. Like, this is the first time we're meeting, JT. Doc, I was saying this is the first time, on this live is the first time, but I get it. It's like, yeah, sure, you got a six pack, you got the abs, but something about your spirit kind of connects. And Doc, you agree?
I absolutely agree. When I was backstage, I was feeling all of the energy, all of the vibes, and just knew that you're passionate. Like, you're speaking from your passion, and nobody can hold that down. You're speaking from your passion. You're walking in your purpose. You're fulfilling your calling, and so that's what you're doing. And so I always say that when preparation meets opportunity, it results in success. So simply, you were already prepared for this, and the opportunity opened the door, and look what happened for you. It's just going to evolve and continue to prosper and grow for you.
And Bootsy is definitely going with the shirts are coming off, the thongs going on. We need more numbers, Bootsy. Get it together. Push Mark, from the table.
Mark, that was the only thing I heard was just take your shirt off and go on social media and it expand. I don't know what everybody else heard, but that's what I heard.
So JT, what's next? Because you basically are a phenomenon right now. So we call JT at like 30,000. By next month, it's going to be 100,000. So make sure, number one, you come back. But what's where are we going, JT? I know you have a big vision. Where's it going?
I'm on path. I don't want to set any limitations for myself. So I'm manifesting everything kind of as I learn more about the industry that I'm in. I'm realizing that social media is a huge part of it. But my ultimate goal is to build, number one, a standing location where I can help young people constantly. But I also want to create a space for the elderly, or the forgotten community, as I call it, because my best friend is my 78-year-old grandmother. And though she does not live in this city, I want to make sure that anyone that's similar to my grandmother also has a space where they can go for health, fitness, and positivity, and stay active. Like, we don't have to, they shouldn't stop. They should keep going. They need to lift weights. They need to stay healthy and stay positive. They need people that can uplift them. So that's one of my spaces. The other is I get compensated to travel and do fitness segments in different parts of the world. So I do that everywhere. I want to do like more of a national speaking / fitness. I tie everything I do together. I don't think I'm the tree and there's multiple branches. I think, like all of us as an entrepreneur, I think as we're on this planet, we need to explore all of those branches, right? So we don't have to do one thing. We're not destined to just do one thing. We're destined to do everything that's inside of us. So that's what I teach the kids. So that's the bigger vision. Also, ultimately growing the platforms that I am on, and building. And I'm very intentional about my words, right? So I'm intentional about building wealth in order to help the communities directly. So I don't have to wait for someone to provide funding for me, and I can go and do programs in different cities across the country and provide these things for free for the students that I want to work with and help. So building wealth is the number one way to do that, and building more of a positive platform for young people to look at me and say, that's something I can mirror, because I don't see a lot of this in the space. We always are taught to be tough, and we have to survive. So we're in survival mode constantly. And I want to showcase what it looks like to survive being positive.
So JT, we have I think my generation, I'm 55. I think when we look at the suicide levels with young people, not just Black kids, but just in general, I think there definitely is a challenge, because our generation kind of came from a place where, when you talk about bullying, when you're talking about basically survival, we kind of came from a place where you had to toughen up. You know, you almost had to take it. You know, it wasn't somebody talking about you. So what? You know, somebody hit him in the face. You know, it was like and so I think we might not be as skilled as dealing with when your kid comes home and says they're picking on me, and we just be like, well, you got to toughen up. That doesn't seem like it's enough. How do we handle the young people, you know, our kids, our grandkids? Because I think there's a little bit of a disconnect from that. When they say I'm getting bullied, well, you got to fight back, blah, blah, blah. What give us some tips on how to handle that?
Well, I can only I'll speak to my personal thing with the conversations I've had with parents, right? Number one, teaching kids to utilize their words as a tool and not in an aggressive way. You know, teaching de-escalation protocol. We used to teach teachers how to de-escalate. You don't go into situations screaming to get a kid to stop yelling, right? Because that's kind of teaching them to do the thing that they learn, like parents.
Guilty.
So house, it was just a mom who was frustrated and learning. She was a very young mom. So her way was what she learned from her mom, and her mom learned from her mom, right? So that is something that we have to learn more, is teaching those social emotional skills and those cues and teaching people how to de-escalate. That's first step. What does de-escalation language look like? And I'm sure Doc would understand this. We have to de-escalate. In our inner city schools, it was, they taught restraints for, especially I was in the inner city. So, but the first phase of that, a lot of people ignored was how do we calm this situation down before? It's using our tone, it's showcasing love, it's maybe showcasing some distance and not running into a situation frantic, ready to break something up. Like, how do you de-escalate? So that's like step one, is like doing your own self-work and research on our kids. I wish there was a platform that just taught that. Because, the biggest problem with the schools is involvement with parents. Parents will send the kid to school thinking that the school's responsible for raising and rearing and teaching them. But our schools honestly don't teach anything about life. Nothing. It's not teaching you nothing about how to really handle yourself in the community. It's not teaching yourself how to really engage with real adults in real situations in life, because the moment you walk out of the school, it's a different environment. The moment
also, let me add this. And I think that's so important what you're saying is because of this invention of charter schools, the educational dynamic or instructions varies. One school district may do one thing, one charter school may focus on one thing, this, that. There's no set, a model of how these kids are being taught, what's being operated. And I think a lot of people older than us think it's like a one-size-fits-all thing that's being taught in schools. And I don't think people have really fully realized that the dynamic of what's being taught in these schools are different versus the school district you in and the charter schools. So I live in DC, where there are more charter schools now than public schools, and everybody has a different philosophy. Everybody's offering something different, and you may not fully understand what's being there. I can remember one day when I was on the radio, man, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Marriott charter schools. Marriott, the hotel company, had a charter school. They had charter schools in DC, and your senior year, they offered hotel management. And the hotel management was, you spent the second half of your day learning how to clean hotel rooms. And I was like, nah, bro. Like, nah.
Wow.
And it's just, yeah. But I don't know if people fully understand what JT is saying when it comes to, you think that we're supposed to raise your kids. Everybody's offering something different. And unfortunately, in urban areas, and please forgive me for what I'm about to say, because this gonna be real bad, but charter schools is nothing but a for-profit business most of the time. Their job is to get behinds and seats. In DC, it varies. One year you have a child. Literally, I've seen 2 charter schools in rec centers. Like, I've seen high school charter schools be in the gyms. How am I supposed to be excited about going to high school in a gym? So I'm just saying, like, the educational thing of what's being done to a lot of our kids, I think that is not fully understood, because people are examining by what was done before in the older days. Last thing, and I'm gonna jump off of this one, get back to JT. I had 2 students that just in my program, both are going to Ivy League school. Now I don't know if Lafayette is an Ivy League school, but Lafayette College is both a high prestigious thing. Both of their schools did not have full-time guidance counselors. One of them had one, the other one had one that was part-time. So people always want to know what the success of my program is that I offer them somebody who did all their college stuff for them. And it's like stuff that we do not realize that a lot of these urban high schools, with all these charter schools, I would really tell everybody, go see if they got a guidance counselor in high school. Because you'll be surprised how many people do not have a pathway to college versus what school they go to. I just wanted to jump in on that one. JT, go ahead.
All right. Okay.
Mark, can I add one thing to what JT said? Is it okay if I just share? Because I heard you say, JT, that, I wish there was a platform out there that could do that, right? And I always tell people, well, if you don't see the answer, be the answer. So you develop the platform out there so that can happen. Because even as I'm thinking, I always call them God ideas and not good ideas. That because I've worked a lot with students with disabilities, social emotional concerns, and things of that nature. And one aspect that I have been thinking is when timeout doesn't work, understanding a child's love language will.
Okay, you just heard it here first.
Talking about
Dr. Green and JT are about to start a new, never been done before school. You have the expertise of Dr. Green, you got the expertise of JT and his social media power. Within 2 years, this will be $1 billion industry.
And we're going to make sure we contribute and sow back into Marc Clarke's life. And that's how we do. One sow, other reaps. Okay. So
wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're talking serious, but I got to give JT some love on a not so serious angle for the ladies and for the guys. Ladies and gentlemen, JT, just in case you guys you're ready. You're ready to get in that gym for the springtime. There he is, ladies. There he is. He's more than just a pretty face, okay?
I was not ready for that photo, by the way.
Yeah, me either.
So, I don't even know where to go from there, but I just realized over my time, like, I definitely got more out of life, and I got more out of the kids I was working with. I got more out of the teachers I was working with, even helping out with administration by being positive and showcasing what that looked like from the ground up. And I did help. I always say help, no matter what my position is. I was just helping to make things better. I was director of school climate and culture, which means I directly was responsible for affecting how kids felt when they walked in to school that day, from shifting to doing, I did study on the Mozart effect and how music affects the kids and how they were able to study and focus. So I did Zen music, and I pumped it through the school the entire day, and did light studies and changed the classroom lighting and did different colors so the kids were calm. Like, these are all real studies already done, but I was the one that was shifting to try to make it so we actually utilize some of the strategies and seeing what happened to our students, because we are affected by all of these things, right? So I always say, let's try and see what happens. If you give me these positions, like, let's utilize it. But every school I realize won't implement. But what I will say is the reason I went in August is, like, I'm going entrepreneur full time, is because I needed to affect change in my own way, in my world, in my bubble, and doing the most I can, being myself and working with entities and individuals that had the same mindset on helping others. So I don't know. I'm going to continue to do that as much as I can and spread love as best I can. But I'm doing this all because I have siblings that are watching me. I have kids that are watching me. And more importantly, I also have adults that are watching me that may utilize something I may say or the energy that I may project. And they may take that and run with it and say, you know what, that young person was right. That older person was right. Whatever energy he's given, I want to utilize that and pay it forward to my community. But you can't, because I know I can't change the world, but I can change the world that I'm in currently, and maybe I can influence others to showcase positivity towards others. So,
well, JT, we support you, man. Our platform is always welcome to you. Somebody, Jarrell just called it the Love Academy. You and Dr. Green's new school, the Love Academy.
I like that. I like that one.
As we wrap things up, Dr. Green, you do a wrap up, and then JT, you do a wrap up, and then we'll be out.
Listen, Mark, I appreciate you. It's amazing how you just put things together and the way you envision things, and it just goes, you are amazing. And so
I tell them the same thing.
We appreciate you because, like I said, you don't understand the things that you will reap because of how you bless so many other people's lives. And so because of that, I again say thank you and I appreciate you. JT, it was nice meeting you, hearing your story. I hope that we can truly connect because there's so much work to do. And I learned now that you can do it more together, that we're stronger together, that somebody can have the vision, but somebody else can help you to articulate it. Bootsy, thank you. Listen, I love the Marc Clarke Morning Show. Let's get this popping every day at 10 o'clock. We'll see you tomorrow.
And of course, JT, your final words.
Listen, this is what I would say to everybody. Showcase love towards yourself first. Fill your own cup before you start your day. Get consistent on loving yourself before you can expect the world to love you. And just know that all things are possible if you stay consistent towards your goals with love. And I always say this at the end of everything, whether I'm working with kids or adults. Always remember to dream big, work hard, enjoy life, and always, always spread love.
I love it. Again, JD, it was a blessing. Shout out to Elizabeth, who made the connection. Elizabeth, you know, everybody knows Elizabeth. And JT, we wish you continued success, my brother. I will, if you don't mind, I will share your contact with Dr. Green. Bootsy, of course, we love you, brother. And Dr. Green, come on now. Come on, sis. Everybody checking in, all my cousins. Watch it. Love y'all so much. And I have one more thing, but I forgot what tomorrow. Tomorrow. Dyslexia tomorrow. We're talking with an author and who suffered from it and also became someone who taught and teaches kids how to deal with it, helps parents how to deal with their kids who have it. And also she turned it into a plus, right? She turned that thing into a plus, as JT says, because as we all know, love is the answer to all questions, right? So have a great day, everybody. We love you. And thank you for tuning in. We'll take care.
It's barely morning and somehow Marc Clarke has to wake up. Of course, Marc has a little help.